Black cockatoo is an iconic bird species in the southwest of Western Australia, and given their threatened nature, this magnificent bird needs lots of friends.
The Noongar word for black feathers, which is karak. So karak is the Noongar name for the black cockatoo, and karakin, so we are friends of the black cockatoos.
I'm at the Karakin Black Cockatoo Conservation Centre, a wonderful place that's doing an incredible job here in the Perth Hills to preserve and protect the black cockatoo. I'm with Mel Marshall, who took me for a tour of Karakin, and I'd love you to join me as we find out about this amazing place.
Okay, so Karakin is a not-for-profit organisation. We are run on site here in conjunction with another organisation called Wildlife Australia. Our mission is to rescue, rehabilitate and release Western Australia's endemic black cockatoos back into the wild and advocate for their thriving. This is our clinic here. Our clinic is the area where our birds come first when they first arrive at Karakin after they've had their assessment at Perth Zoo. This is where their rehabilitation commences. And so in here we've got birds being crop fed regularly, we've got birds that are on special diets that are requiring medication or bandage changes. So these birds are cared for intensely by our clinic volunteers, who are generally veterinary students or animal wildlife students who come and volunteer in our clinic, and they need to have very specific experience to work here. 80% of the birds that come in present with wing, leg or keel fractures from being hit by a motor vehicle. Generally it's because they're feeding or drinking on the side of the road and the car has come around the corner and they're just not quite able to get up high enough from the ground to avoid that accident. This aviary here can be used as a breeding aviary because it's sectioned out. So we've got some little private, what we call honeymoon suites for each couple. Black cockatoos mate for life, and they're also very picky about who's around them when they are breeding. Okay, welcome to Cocky Central. This in Karakin is where we have lots of action happening. Around us we're surrounded by aviaries. The birds in these aviaries are mostly under rehabilitation. So we've got birds here that are recovering from raven attacks. We've got others that are in their final stage. This aviary behind me is 60 metres long. That's the final stage for the birds that come through Karakin. In this aviary, these birds are on a release track. We will make sure that they fly up and down that aviary. It works like a lap pool to strengthen their muscles, to exercise them and prepare them for the big wide world outside of here. When we are ready to release them, we work with the Department of Parks and Wildlife to decide on a release site. We get all the birds down one end, we draw a curtain across the end, and we use these big velvet nets to catch them. When the birds are caught, they're weighed, their microchip is checked. Every bird that comes through here is microchipped, so we know it's exactly the correct bird that needs to go. They're always released at dusk with full bellies, and they're always released in an area where there are already existing members of the same species around that can call to them, show them where to roost, where to drink, where to sleep for the night, and then after that, they can integrate into that flock. We generally find, because we attach transmitters and trackers to some of our birds, and they were produced by the University of Amsterdam, and we are the first organisation in conjunction with DPAW to use these trackers on animals outside in Australia. This is the first place where it's done. And
Karakin's interests are much wider than black cockatoos. They're concerned for the environment as a whole and for other natural species as well.
This area here is one of our recent revegetation projects. So one of our main things that we tend to do is we want to preserve the bushland that we've got, and then we also want to plant more of it. And that provides habitat not only for black cockatoos, but for all of the other animals that call this part of Australia home. So in this area, we've planted 2,500 trees. The idea is that this turns back into bushland and becomes habitat for some of those resident animals that move around the site. We're developing a strategic plan for our dingoes at the moment. So what we would like is for more people to know that we have dingoes here and the role that they play in the environment. And so the dingoes that we have here are alpine dingoes. We think they're virtually extinct in the wild, and we would like to advocate for them as having a role, a very critical role in our ecosystems. So we've got over 200 volunteers on our books that do all sorts of different roles here at Karakin. We only have 4 paid staff, and the rest of us are here just because we absolutely love it. So there's really a job for everybody. Karakin is a really critical part of caring for these black cockatoos. We want people to meet them up close because the idea is that you don't conserve what you don't love. And if people can meet these guys up close, realise they play such a critical role in our ecosystem, that will encourage them to take action such as planting a cockatoo-friendly garden, keeping our number in their phone if they happen to come across an injured or sick black cockatoo, advocating for their natural bushlands that are close to where they live so they can be preserved and protected, and really becoming a bit of a voice for our environment here in WA.